Take 3 profitable trades with just one simple pattern. How? Watch the entire video because I'll also share a golden tip that will double your profits. What is a tick fractal? Look at these images. At the peak, there seems to be a tick, and at the trough, there is an opposite tick. With these ticks, we can easily trade. This trading pattern is the tick fractal. Whenever there is a tick at the peak or an opposite tick at the trough, we can enter a trade with this setup. The tick fractal pattern is commonly found in the market, so once you learn it, you can easily make profits. This pattern is actually the hunt pivot pattern. That is, the price hunts the previous level, where we expected a price reversal, hitting the stop loss of small traders, and then begins the main movement. In lower time frames, this can appear as a double divergence pattern. How does this setup form? To form this setup, in whatever time frame we are, we need a leg corresponding to that time frame. How do we identify a leg? For a leg to exist, the price must have moved by at least 240% of the average true range of that time frame. For convenience, in our indicator, which we will release soon on TradingView after completing it, we have calculated this value. Essentially, we compare the length of the movement to 240% of the ATR of the time frame. An important question arises: where should we start measuring each leg? The start of each leg can have 3 scenarios: from the tip of the previous leg, after a correction, or after a base formation, which is also a type of correction. Look at the image. This one is from the 15-minute time frame. In the 15-minute time frame, the minimum leg length should be 17 pips, which corresponds to this time frame. Additionally, if the leg is longer than 46 pips, it belongs to a higher time frame. We measure the leg length from the left side. This leg starts after a correction and has a length of 32, so it belongs to the 15-minute time frame. The next leg starts from a base and has a length of 21 pips, so this leg also belongs to the 15-minute time frame. The next leg, starting from the tip of this leg, measures 14 pips, so it belongs to a lower time frame. The next leg starts from the base before it, and we must measure the leg from the farthest point of the base. This leg is 58 pips long, so it belongs to a higher time frame. The next leg starts from the end of this leg, with a length of 28, so it belongs to the 15-minute time frame. The following legs are 19 pips and 21 pips, respectively, and they belong to the 15-minute time frame. After determining the time frame of the leg, we need to have an inside bar. An inside bar is a candlestick that is fully inside the previous one, like the image. The previous candle is called the mother bar. I have explained how to trade with inside bar hunts in a separate video, and I recommend you watch that video. In our custom indicator, inside bars are marked in yellow, so you can easily spot them on the chart and trade with them. Once the inside bar forms, mother bar must be hunted within 2 candles after the inside bar and the mother bar. If the previous leg was bearish, the low of mother bar must be hunted. If the previous leg was bullish, the high of it must be hunted. After the hunt of these 2 candles, we can enter a trade using the first setup, which will be explained next. To form the tick fractal pattern, the inside bar must be fully covered. That is, after the mother bar and inside bar are hunted, the close must occur above the inside bar within at most 2 candles. After that, we can enter a trade with the tick fractal setup. How can we have 3 setups with just this one candlestick pattern? Look at this image. The setups are marked with numbers. The first setup is after hunting the inside bar and the mother bar. The second setup is after hunting the inside bar from the opposite side, and the third setup is after confirming the tick fractal pattern. If you like this part of the video, please like the video or leave any questions about the video in the comments, and I will address them in future videos. First setup. After forming the inside bar, we can trade with the inside bar hunt setup. Once the hunt is complete in the trigger timeframe, we enter the trade. In a downtrend, the low of the inside bar must be hunted, and in an uptrend, the high of the inside bar must be hunted. Then, in the trigger timeframe, we draw the appropriate trigger line, and after it breaks, we enter the trade. The trigger line is a trend line drawn in the trigger timeframe. be sure to watch the trigger line video, which I will link in the description. The trigger time frame is typically 2 time frames lower than the one in which we saw the pattern. In the image, I have showed all the trigger time frames. Note that in this strategy, we do not use the 30-minute time frame. The reason we go to the trigger time frame is to reduce the stop loss and increase the target for a better risk-to-reward ratio. Everything in this strategy is based on ATR, as explained in previous videos, where we calculate the power of each time frame's movement using ATR and use that for setting stop losses and targets, determining stop loss based on the expected price movement in the trigger time frame, and setting the target based on the expected movement from the structure time frame. For the first setup, we can determine the targets in 3 ways. Method 1. Target 1 is the size of the inside bar. Target 2 is the size of the mother bar, and target 3 is the combined length of the inside bar and mother bar. Method 2. Target 1 is equal to the stop loss. Target 2 is 3 times the stop loss. Target 3 is 5 times the stop loss. Method 3. Targeting using our custom indicator, which will be available soon, and we will fully explain how to use it. You can set your targets based on the indicator, but remember that targets are calculated from the peak or trough, not from the entry point. For example, if the first target is 35 pips and your stop loss is 23 pips, you effectively have a target of 12 pips. As shown in the image, 4 targets are marked, and you can enter each position with different target points according to your trading strategy. Stop loss can be determined in 2 ways. The stop loss is placed below the last trough in a downtrend or above the last peak in an uptrend. In this case, the stop loss should be placed slightly above the peak or below the trough to avoid being hunted. This value is also calculated in the indicator and corresponds to stop loss type 1. After the trigger line is broken, we consider the last trough or peak formed and place the stop loss at a distance calculated by stop loss type 1 from the peak or trough. Stop loss type 2 is also calculated in the indicator, and we can place it based on the entry point at that distance. Second setup. In the inside bar hunt video, I mentioned that in inside bars, we can enter a trade after hunting both sides of the inside bar. In this pattern, we can also enter a trade by hunting the other side of the inside bar and set stop loss and targets as in the first setup. That is, when the price hunts the opposite side of the inside bar, we go to the trigger time frame and enter the trade after the trigger line breaks. Third setup. In this setup, after confirming the tick fractal pattern, we enter the trade. The tick fractal pattern is confirmed when the inside bar is fully covered after 2 candles. The following candles must close above the yellow zone after the inside bar is covered. After this, we go to the trigger time frame and wait for the entry. We can use any entry trigger to enter the trade, including the trigger line. In this setup, we can determine the stop loss and target like the first setup. If you have any questions about this pattern or other videos, feel free to comment, and I will address your doubts in the next video. Next, I will explain how to trade using all 3 tick fractal setups with an example. If you need more examples, let me know in the comments. If there are many requests, we will prepare a video for it. Take a look at the image. In this chart, a tick fractal pattern has formed after an uptrend. The length of the previous leg is 144 pips, and 240% of the ATR of the 4-hour time frame is 134 pips. Therefore, this leg belongs to this time frame. We identify the high and low of the inside bar. Then, we move to the 15-minute time frame, which serves as the trigger time frame. In the trigger time frame, we enter the trade based on the hunt of the inside bar from either side by breaking the trigger line. In the image, we see that the low of the inside bar has been hunted. We draw the trigger line, and upon its breakout, we should enter the trade. To set the target, we determine it from the last low. As you can see, the price has reached target 2. For setting the stop loss, as mentioned, there are 2 methods. The first method is placing the stop loss 1 pip below the last low. Alternatively, we can place the stop loss 11 pips lower than the entry point. In this setup, If we choose target 2 of the indicator as our target and use the first stop-loss method, we would achieve a 1-to-2 risk-to-reward ratio. Second setup, we enter a trade when the inside bar is hunted from the opposite side. As shown in the image, the price has moved 100 pips, meaning target 3 of the indicator was also reached. In fact, target 4 was also hit, but it could not fit in the image. By selecting the right target, we could easily make a 10% profit. Third setup. In the structure time frame, after the candle closes below the inside bar, we switch to the trigger time frame. When the price returns to the low area of the inside bar and breaks the trigger line, we enter the trade. As you can see, using this method, we could have gained at least a 5% profit. As shown in the image, using this simple setup, we achieved a 17% profit in just one day. Additional notes. The most important factor that helps you find more patterns on the chart and ultimately multiply your profits is that you don't need to be overly strict about the formation of the pattern. The key point is that the previous pivot must be hunted. We will also explain the pivot hunt trading setup in detail. In general, the number of inside bars doesn't matter much, even if there are 3 inside bars, and the close above the inside bar doesn't happen within 2 candles. It's not a big issue. While a higher success rate is desirable, being too strict will reduce your trading opportunities. Depending on how long you plan to stay in a trade, you can choose your entry time frame. I recommend watching the video on selecting the entry time frame based on your trading strategy, whether you are a scalper, day trader, swing trader, or position trader. For example, if you want your trade to be completed within a few hours, it's better to trade tick fractals from 4-hour time frames and lower. We discussed 3 methods for determining the target and 2 methods for setting the stop loss. Each of the target setting methods identified at least 3 targets. Therefore, you have at least 18 different ways to determine stop loss and target. To find the best stop loss and target setting approach for yourself, it's best to backtest and decide based on your trading system. So far, we have taught you nearly 10 profitable entry setups and triggers. With any of them, you can become profitable and won't need any additional training. In this channel, we will teach you the most up-to-date and advanced trading style. If you are interested in this category of content, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon